Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are evaluating the behaviourist approach in psychology, focusing on the key strengths and weaknesses using examples and core psychological concepts. A central belief of the behaviourist approach is environmental determinism, the idea that our behaviour is entirely shaped by our environment, and we have little to no control over it. This is a strength because it makes behaviour more predictable and therefore easier to treat. For instance, if someone develops a phobia due to a traumatic experience, behaviourists can trace this back to learned associations and use therapies like systematic desensitization to unlearn the fear. However, this deterministic view is also a significant weakness. By suggesting that behaviour is wholly shaped by external influences, it removes personal accountability. A good example of this is the differential association theory of crime, which proposes that people learn criminal behaviour through exposure to pro-criminal attitudes and behaviours in their environment. From a behaviourist standpoint, a person who grows up around criminal role models may be conditioned to adopt the same values and actions. While this helps explain patterns of offending, it downplays individual choice and responsibility, suggesting people are merely products of their surroundings. This can lead to a blame the environment mentality and ignores cases where people in the same environment choose not to commit crime. The behaviourist approach is often criticised for being reductionist. It reduces complex human behaviours down to simple stimulus-response associations, ignoring internal processes like emotions, thoughts, and biological influences. This is evident in the Little Albert study by Watson and Rayner. In the study, a young child was conditioned to fear a white rat by pairing it with a loud noise. Behaviourists viewed this fear as the result of classical conditioning. Albert learned to associate the rat, a neutral stimulus, with fear, the conditioned response, because of the frightening sound, the unconditioned stimulus. While this offers a clear explanation of how fears might be learned, it reduces a deeply emotional and psychological reaction to a basic formula. It doesn't consider how phobias may also be due to evolutionary influences, providing us with an advantage to increase chances for survival. This simplification is a weakness because it fails to account for the full complexity of human behaviour, potentially ignores important causes of behaviour from other perspectives. The behaviourist approach firmly supports the nurture side of the nature-nurture debate. It argues that all behaviours are learned from the environment and downplays the role of genetics and biology. The Bandura Bobo doll study illustrates this point well. Bandura showed that children who observed aggressive adult role models were more likely to imitate that aggression. This supports the behaviourist view of environmental influences on learning, like observation and reinforcement. This is a weakness of the behaviourist approach as it ignores the potential innate influences on aggressive behaviour, like testosterone or genetic mutations like the MAOA gene. Therefore, the behaviourist approach offers an incomplete picture of behaviour formation. One of the key strengths of the behaviourist approach is its commitment to the scientific method. Behaviourists use controlled lab experiments to study observable behaviour, which increases the objectivity and reliability of their findings. For example, Skinner's operant conditioning experiments with rats and pigeons used strict controls to investigate how reinforcement and punishment shape behaviour. These studies produced measurable results that could be replicated, helping to establish psychology as a science and lending credibility to the behaviourist approach. This is a strength of the approach as this scientific rigour ensures that behaviourist theories are grounded in empirical evidence, making them more credible and applicable in real-world contexts. A major strength of the behaviourist approach lies in its practical applications. Its principles have been successfully used to treat a wide range of psychological issues and improve behavior in educational, clinical, and social settings. One of the most effective examples is systematic desensitization, a treatment for phobias based on classical conditioning. This therapy involves gradually exposing a person to their phobic stimulus while teaching them relaxation techniques, aiming to replace the fear response with a calm, neutral one. Research has shown that systematic desensitization is highly effective. For instance, McGrath et al. 2000 found that 75% of patients with a wide range of anxiety disorders responded well to the therapy. This is a strength of the approach, as it highlights how behaviourist principles can be used not only to explain behaviour, but also to bring about meaningful, lasting change in people's lives, showing the approach to be useful. The behaviourist approach has had a profound impact on psychology. Its focus on observable behaviour, scientific methods, and real-world applications have made it both influential and practical. It excels at identifying environmental causes of behaviour and using this understanding to modify unwanted behaviours. However, it also has notable limitations. By being deterministic, reductionist, and heavily focused on nurture, it neglects the role of free will, biological influences, and internal mental processes. As a result, it can offer an incomplete view of human behaviour. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more psychology content.